Hi guys, Paula here. Welcome back to the Flavorful Home. We're in my kitchen. If you're new, how are you? I hope you'll come and visit again. And today I'm cooking dinner. It's my granddaughter's 21st birthday, and she requested chili. And my chili is one of the best chilies I've ever tasted. I've made tons of different versions. This recipe I have been making for at least 20 years. I'm not here to argue beans, no beans, that makes it not a chili. I call it chili. Let's gather our ingredients and get started. Come on. Okay, what goes into my chili? I like chunks of beef in mine. So these are little thin minute steaks I get from Sam's, and I break them into groups of 3, and they get cut into about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch dice, chopped meat or ground beef. This is from one of those 3-pound, it's probably about 1.5 pounds there. Beef chorizo. One of these goes right in. Chopped onion. Beans are always last. Kidney beans, just to heat up. You have cumin, chili powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, 3, 4, maybe even 5, but usually not more than 4, depending on their size, bay leaf. And beef broth. I will usually add about 1.5 cups of water to it, and I think that's a teaspoon of bouillon that goes in with the 1.5 cups of water. So I'm going to start dicing my meat, and we'll get started. Okay, I just wanted to quickly show you the cut. About this size. Some are a little bigger, some are a little smaller. I'm not going to bore you with the whole chop, but you're going to put your heat to high with a little bit of olive oil so these could get a nice brown on them. When we're ready to go to the oven, we'll come back. This is the dice on the onion, and I will dice this piece too, but I just wanted to show you. That's the size. Now we're going to move to the stove and get ready to drop our meat. And I do it in groups. Let's see if it's, yes it is. I don't throw all of it in at one time because you're going to drop your oil temperature. So I do it in about 3 sections. And I have my slotted spoon. And I give it a little. And just let it go. Let it brown up nice. And when it's done, I'll show you the brown I like on it. Alrighty. I use my slotted to let it drain. And you see that brown on it? Some are a little more than others. You can see it better in there. Again, you're not looking for perfection, just browned meat. Don't get nervous. If it doesn't look exactly like this, it's not a big deal. And you put the next group in. Yeah, it looks like I could actually get it all in there. And once again, you just make sure it's in a single layer and kind of stretched out and let it brown up, and we'll come back for the next part. While my meat's browning, I'm going to show you how much of the seasonings I use. Now this is just dark chili powder. Guys, I do not measure, not anymore, and not with something like this. Might be about 1/4 of a cup, maybe a little more. The reason I don't measure anymore is because I've been making this for so long, I don't need to. And flavor profiles are what you like. You might want to use some cayenne in that. I do not. Now this is ground cumin. That's probably about 1.5 teaspoons. Now comes my granulated garlic, and I just do that. That's probably 1/2 teaspoon. Next up, my fresh cracked pepper, and this will probably be 1/2 teaspoon. And remember, once it's added, taste it, and if you want something more, go for it. If what I'm putting in now is stuff you don't like, do not add it. It's your kitchen. You are the boss. Applesauce, a handful, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And I'm going, because these are kind of on the smaller side, I'm going to do 3 bay leaves. That's my seasoning bowl. Now I'm going to get out the rest of my browning meat. Alrighty. I did shut my gas off because steam is coming off. This is my nuclear burner. So I will let it cool down while I'm adding in my chopped meat. See, it's sizzling and it's not even on. And because cast iron holds your heat too. And I am all ready, once this is together, to go ahead and move it over to my second burner that also has my trivet on it. Okay, let me get my spoon. And you just get it going. You mash it up. You want to break it up. I need to get that tool. I see a lot of people that it looks like a fan facing down that they use to break up their meats with, be it ground sausage or pork. That looks like a neat one to have. And I do this a lot, so it looks like a tool worthy of having in my kitchen. I'll never forget Alton Brown on Food Network said, useless tools do nothing but take up space. So if you have a tool, make sure it's worth your time. And I would definitely use that a lot, so it would be worth my time. I'm actually going to add a little bit more to that because it is a lot of people coming. So dump that too. And I serve this with rice. Not everyone likes rice, so not everyone puts the rice into their bowl. But I like it with rice. Okay, we're going to let this cook. And when I'm ready for the chorizo to come in, we'll come back. Okay, it's not quite finished browning. So now I'm going to add in my chorizo. And I just cut the tube in half and just squeeze this into it. Now this puppy is going to impart a lot of flavor into it as well. Okay. Start breaking that up. And it'll kind of melt into the meat and become all beautiful. And now I'm going to add my onions. And boop. I am holding a little bit of onion back because I make a vegetarian one for my 2 daughters and my granddaughter. So I held a bit of onion back. Now, one thing you can also do, you can chop up some more onion and serve that once it's cooked. And so now we will just let this go for just a bit, finish melding together, and then we will add the beef. In goes my beef. It has nothing in it but just the onions, the ground beef, the chorizo, and the chunk. And it smells good already. Now we're going to dump the seasoning, and there you go. Let this come together. I always give it a little taste to see where we're at. And then we're going to get the tomatoes in. Let's get it to come together. Let me get my spoon. That is on fire. Yep. Perfection. Perfection. Guys, cooking is fun. You're an artist when you cook. You know that? You can control what that tastes like. And it tastes like heaven. I'm going to get my tomatoes open and we'll come back. Okay. I have my 28-ounce can of whole, and I just squeeze them in and let them go around. Just like that. Get the juices in there. I could squeeze, sometimes I'll just do it in the can. Oop, and I made a mess. And as you could see by the foil and whatnot around my stove, I don't like to make a mess of my stove. Amazing that someone who loves to cook so much cannot stand a mess. I can't, with a passion, I can't stand it. Okay, I'm just going to give that a little go around. Oh, my boy is barking because it seems the dogs outside from the neighbors are not happy. Okay, we'll come back in a minute for the remaining ingredients. Alrighty. I'm going to put just however much. Let me put it in my hand. That's about a teaspoon. All right, 2 teaspoons. And I have 2/3 of the can full of water. And I will decide if I'm going to use all of it. That looks good. All right, that's good. We will take one more taste with the tomatoes. I don't really have any words, folks. It's just darn good. Alrighty. As you can see, it's very easy. It gets served with rice if you like. About 10 minutes before I add the beans. Sprinkle it with cheese or whatever other fixings you like. Chili. Alrighty, so I have my pot of chili going. It's on my trivet and I have it at the lowest setting as far as the heat goes. About every 10 or 15 minutes I'll give it a stir. Give it about an hour. You want those flavors to really come together and marry. So about an hour should do it. Remember, you put what you like, what your family enjoys. If you like high heat, let it rip. Don't be afraid to play with different seasonings. I'm just giving you a very, very easy base to start with, and man, you could just jump off. You don't like beans, don't put beans. You don't like kidney beans, you prefer pinto, do that. Whatever you like, you do. Just get in there and cook. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you try it. I hope if you're new, you'll consider a thumbs up, a subscription, and hitting the bell. Until next time, go create something wonderful. Bye-bye.